I am 37 and my husband is 34. My husband of 7 years emotionally cheated on me with his female friend 27 and I cannot get over it. Too long didn't read. Husband cheated with his new friend and he did. Expects me to forgive and forget, but something feels off to me and I cannot get past it. My husband lives separately from our daughter and me for most of the week because of work. Due to finances, we live at home with my parents and he stays at a cheap singles apartment. We cannot afford to live together at this time. Initially, I had a lot of problems with this as he would only come home for a day and then go back. When he was here, he was very attentive and would help me with whatever I needed and we would message each other daily. But I felt like he didn't care to come home and be with us. He worked 8-hour shifts and said the drive here was exhausting. We would argue a lot about him not being here and I resolved to be less selfish because he claimed to be under so much stress and I wasn't seeing his side of things. Long story short, I found out that he was carrying out an emotional affair at the very least with a woman who stayed part-time in the same apartment building for at least 3 months. I'd met this woman and her boyfriend. We had even stayed overnight at their house a couple times. I never noticed anything at the time, I guess because we hardly saw each other. I feel like he was a bit devious in how he presented her to me as well. He insisted that I meet her and speak to her even though I was an introvert and just wanted to stay inside and read. I ended up liking her. She was financially supported by her boyfriend, who was very nice to me, was doing a second degree at a local university, and smoked a lot of weed. I don't smoke and I don't really drink anymore either, but she seemed like a lot of fun and very different from me. Of course, she was very attractive. How it was found out was that my husband sent her a message that he was already missing her, and her boyfriend saw it and ended up finding messages between them where they talked about sexual things. He had sent a dick pic. She replied with sexually suggestive comments and they talk about the need of secrecy. She even slept over in his apartment sometimes. They hung out outside of the apartment as well. She admitted to her boyfriend that she had not talked to my husband yet, but she fully intended to, then said that I knew and planned to have a threesome with them. However, when the boyfriend threatened to tell me, she begged him not to and said he would ruin our family, so he knew that was a lie. He ended up reaching out to me on social media while I was out shopping and relayed what he read. To say I was devastated would be an understatement. I detest cheating and cheaters and he knows this. While I've had minor issues early on with what I felt was flirtatious behavior from him and women he would interact with, he had stopped when I mentioned it was inappropriate and embarrassing to me. He presents a good Christian man and I expected better. My husband's reaction to the revelation in retrospect was kind of baffling. First, he said it was not a big deal. He didn't think he had done anything wrong since he had never had sex with her. I kept trying to explain and it was like talking to a brick wall. He said, if I was in his position, he wouldn't make a big deal out of it. No empathy for me and what I was going through. A part of me felt like I was in an alternate reality watching this happen to someone else. He said she was just a friend and the times that he needed someone to talk to and she understood him and listened to him, implying that I couldn't or wouldn't, that all the sexual stuff happened when he was drunk and couldn't even remember sending the dick pic. In fact, he first broached his infidelity in a trickle truth way by saying that apparently he sent her a dick pic and her boyfriend found it. When I asked what that meant, he said he has no recollection of sending it but the boyfriend had seen it. So it would appear that he did send it. My husband has a scientific bent of mind and is a logical person, while I am more emotional and reactive. However, he expected me to believe that he never even kissed this woman. That is just a really intimate friendship and truly thought he had done nothing wrong. I asked him why he had their messages on a disappearing chat if it was all just friendship and innocent, and he had no answer. There's a lot more I could add that was mind-boggling, but it's been like 6 weeks and though he has apologized and I have decided to try to work it out for our daughter, I feel like he still has not accepted the gravity of what happened or really thinks he is wrong. She and the boyfriend have broken up since, even though they had given it a second try, and she lives in the same apartment now full-time. He felt comfortable admitting to me that he missed their camaraderie and needed time to stop talking to her. That's right, he still talks to her. When I try to get him to see my point of view and how hurtful this is, he gets angry and visibly shuts down. He seemingly wants to focus on the future and forget about this, but I can't. I feel he hasn't shown me enough remorse or accountability. I've realized after going through his phone that he has always been a little bit inappropriate with his female friends. I am humiliated. My family never wanted me to marry him in the first place, but now they love him. If they found out that he did this to me, they would hate him. The advice I'm looking for at this time is if I am being gaslit or manipulated. He never outright said that I was to blame for him turning to her, but he did mention a couple times that I'm mentally fragile and didn't have time for him and he needed someone to talk to, and that I never wanted to have sex anymore. For what it's worth, on a good week he comes home twice for a few hours and wants sex. I'm expected to be receptive sexually to whatever random time he pops in for a visit. That's not how my body works. Whenever I want to get some closure, he gets angry or looks bored. When we talk recently, he complains about how stressful his job is and it makes me feel guilty about bringing up the stuff that bothers me. The thing is, he said the same thing while he was in the middle of the emotional affair, and he somehow found the time to talk and go out with this woman. While I was here raising our child in circumstances that are far from ideal, he was doing his own thing and making me feel bad when I asked him why he wasn't coming home. So I don't know if I am being too naive or what. Something just doesn't sit right with my soul. How could he be sorry if he doesn't see what he did was terrible? They both still live there and I just have to take his word that nothing is happening between them. I'm not in a position to leave him right now. I loved this man more than anything and trusted him with my life, not in the US. Now for the top comments, here's a comment from Red81. Sorry to say, but if she's slept over at his apartment, it was after they fucked us, so it's not just an emotional affair. Another comment, I'm here to second this. They don't fucking sleep over and nothing happens. OP, I don't know your situation. I'm not going to tell you to just leave because those of us who have been abused know it's hardly ever that simple, if ever. But based on what you've written, he is definitely gaslighting you and trying to minimize his fuck up. This is 1000% what's going on. He isn't sorry. He's only sorry he got caught, and that wicked Jezebel is no different. She fully intended to him, and I'm sure your husband is the same. It sucks. If your heart is destroyed and your world is shaken right now, I don't blame you one bit. Cheating is one of the most difficult things to forgive. You likely won't ever be able to simply forgive. He won't even address the issue. Like others have said, his cold and callous dismissiveness to how deeply he has hurt you speaks volumes. Also known as, he doesn't care that he hurt you. Think long and hard about this, OP. This marriage is likely already over. Here's a comment from the OP. That's what I believed. He swears that he didn't let it get so far because in his head, cheating is about physical and what he was doing wasn't. From what I've seen of the world, horny adults take advantage of opportunities and they have had many. Thanks for replying. Here's another comment from Red81. Honestly, I get a strong impression he's just going with whatever fabrication and trickle truth his AP was selling to her boyfriend. Also, his reaction to being caught and totally lack of empathy, compassion for you, and narcissistic gaslighting is borderline psychopathic. Take from that what you will, but you deserve better.